Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Monday, August 3rd, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And I just want to say thank you for joining us this morning. It is Monday, which makes it a weekly news and announcements day, and that should include announcing the drawing of the week. We are continuing to go with the virtual Gamehole Con badges. They seem to be very popular amongst the followers of the show that are getting tapped for one of these. I think we've given away let's see, I'll count them. 1, 2, 3. We got, right? It started off with Heath from Australia. Hobbsy got one. Ink Dweller 8. Lexfire 22. Lost Nomad. I haven't seen Lost Nomad in a little while. I wonder what's up. Maybe a new job schedule or something. Red Barn Games. And we threw Grail Night in there that week. We did a double for week 16. And that worked out pretty nicely. Sarah, who had won a 13th Warrior DVD but still hasn't gotten it because she's right here in town. Mailing it seems foolish, but we don't see each other that much with the whole shelter-in-place sort of thing. Well, I'm just going to find a die here. Do a little Randarooski because we got to figure out who won this week. Good morning, Article Justicar. How are you? We got to get you onto the list for this week. Make sure you are included in next week's drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, no, that's a die with a bunch of faces on it. No, that doesn't have, has icons all over the place. 1, 2. Oh. Well, isn't that something? Well, I will not announce it just yet until I am sure that they want it. But it is not somebody who's won before, I don't think. It's not winning. It's just a giveaway. It's just a thank you. So this is somebody that could use a thank you. I think this is the only person that was on that list from last week. Yeah, I think everybody else who's on that list had actually gotten something already. So this is actually fortuitous. Very nice. Let me run down this list and see. Nope, they never did get anything before. Well, there you go then. Yeah. Got the blinds blasting in a little light here. I'll tell you something. I've been looking at some of the old shows and looking at the quality of some of the production values involved here, and I know this is not meant to be, some Hollywood production of, it's not even meant to be a professional production. It's just meant to be something to help me keep track of the days of the week, as I like to joke. It's just a little something I do to have a little fun, a little hobby-oriented, gamer-adjacent activity. I purposefully do this as a live stream and then just throw it up on YouTube. Any of the production work, whether it's the title placard that I put together or the background green screen thingy, it's all got to be super simple to do. I don't want to spend hours every day. I don't want to do a half-hour show and then spend 8 hours editing it and fixing the sound and doing all this other. If it's kind of hollow sounding one day because the mic's off for some reason, or there's some other problem like this bit of fuzziness behind me because of the green screen not being perfectly calibrated, I don't give a crap. Generally speaking, I don't give a crap. I mean, it'd be nice if I could fix this up a little bit. If I could do it easily without spending hours and days worth of time on it, because it's not that I don't care. It's just that I have a certain amount of time I can put into this, and I would rather put into the 3.5 hours worth. It's a half hour a day. It's usually a little longer. The 3.5 hours of actual stream, I'd rather put any time or energy I have into the live portion of it and the connecting portion of it than in the production values and all of that. So hopefully it's good enough for now. But I think over the next week, I am going to spend a little extra time. We're coming up on show 150. Can you believe that? LexFire22, how you doing, buddy? Keep it simple. Yep. No time for a time sink. That is so true. That's exactly the attitude that I've taken when I decided to put this together, was not to let it become this all-encompassing. I tried to do something with Anchor where I was doing a readings of sword and sorcery works that were in the public domain. I started off with some Robert E. Howard stuff, and it became this. The whole editing process and everything just became this huge burden. And you know, maybe there are people out there that can do this sort of stuff and find a way to monetize it and do all the hoop jumping that you have to do to make that work. This is not what this is. This is not in the slightest some sort of huge money-making scheme. This is not ever. It's not planned to be any sort of. If there's some lightning in the bottle effect down the line where a lot of people gain some enjoyment out of this and stuff, and you know, maybe if some of the offerings, the Creative Mountain Games offerings I have, maybe I'll put something out here or there going forward that some people might like. But it's not. Never think for an instant that this is some sort of a grand scheme to be the next big thing, to make some sort of fortune. What's the old joke? How do you become a millionaire? No. How do you wind up with $1 million in the gaming industry? You start with 2 million. So there's no doubt that this green screen, the cameras that I've purchased, the ring light that I picked up more recently just to experiment with this. Look at this. The lighting is so insane. So this would require a big adjustment to what I'm doing here. And this is good for something, and I haven't figured it out yet. But there was a deal on it, so I snagged it. This headset I have, it's just a replacement of something, of a type of headset I've had for 14 years. And then I couldn't replace it this last time around, so I picked up these a set of these Steel Series. They come with a detachable microphone, and You know, they've got all these neat little settings on the side. You've got a mute button. You've got a volume control. You can plug it in 3 different ways. You can actually have it wired in and juiced up all the time, even as you're using it, or you can unplug it and use it as a wireless headset, which is one of the reasons I want it in. I want to be able to use it also when I'm listening to music and roaming around the house doing chores, or off at another table doing some crafting or painting or whatever I'm doing, right? Anywho, that's some equipment I got. But you know what? I picked up this whole. I don't know if you can see this. I picked up a Yeti mic some time back and got a stand for it, and you know, it's ready to go. I used it for a little while when I was doing the Anchor thing, trying to do the audio. I want to call it audio book because it's certainly audio recordings of old stories. And it worked pretty well for that. But it picks up everything, and I never could quite figure out how to dial it in so that if a truck drove by out on the street, because I'm on the second floor here in an apartment, I don't have a basement to squirrel myself away in. So, you know, anything that's going to be picking up a lot of ambient noise. And I had some problems with the air conditioner here earlier in the summer, too, until I dialed that in. But that had to get done because I wasn't going to not have air conditioning through this summer. That'd be thinner. That'd be good, right? The idea, though, is eventually to incorporate the light. Maybe over the next week, maybe I can start working with this mic and figure out how to make that work more directionally without picking up every sound. I don't know if you could hear that. Some guy goes by with a half-ass muffler, and I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. So I know that if I was using that Yeti mic, that would have picked it up for sure, and it would have sounded like it was driving right next to me, because that thing picks up everything. It's a great instrument, super sensitive and beautiful, but calibrating the settings for it so that I can use it in this space without having to worry about the stuff that's extraneous to what I'm doing is a tricky business. Maybe over the next week, like I say, maybe over the next week. You go, okay, nope, says article Justicar did not hear that muffler, but you would have with that Yeti mic for sure. That was like, if for all the time I spent doing, reading that Frost Giant's Daughter thing that was done earlier, man, there are whole chunks that I had to re-record based off of just stuff going by on the street. And you know, another thing, when you're doing those audio recordings, you've got all of these micro pauses in between sentences that don't need to be there. And you could record a story in 30 minutes and find, once you do all the micro editing that you should be doing to keep it paced well and to have it come off and sound understandable but not rushed, is a real art, you know. I know people that do that for a living and they do great work. And I by no means think I'm of that caliber. And let's be clear about this. I'm not looking to hire somebody to do this kind of stuff and pay the hundreds of dollars for studio time that it would take to do that for something that I know is not going to make any money. I'm not interested in it. And let me be clear, I'm not saying I'm not looking for something that can make a profit or avoiding something that can make a profit. It's just, for the most part, stuff I'm doing has to at least kind of pay for itself. There's only so much money I can justify throwing at all of this in the name of a hobby. At a certain point, some of this stuff has to do double duty as Creative Mountain Game stuff or just stuff I would have gotten anyway just because I want to be on the internet sometimes or I want to play on some virtual tabletop games, so I need a headset, whatever. So there you are. That's weekly news. That's the news portion, right? I didn't do the announcement yet because we still haven't seen a buddy. I'll have to shoot him a PM later for who won this week and see if they really want to take me up on it. I've got a backup, so that's okay. We're good to go in both regards because there you go. Okay, just double checking something here. What else do I want to say about this? So also the here, let's have a look at this. These opening title placards. I was thinking about doing something different with these too. The big centerpiece, OK Grognard Show logo. I was thinking about cutting that down about 50% and shoving it in the bottom right corner, and doing more with the artwork and the titles of what it is. Also, the name and number of each episode, as you see it on YouTube and you see it on Twitch for as long as they're here. This convention of Todd, what's the word I'm looking for here? Help me out. Can you think of it? George? Anyway, titles of the show, the names of the files, whatever, for YouTube and for Twitch for as long as they're there. They're very utilitarian, you know. TOGS, the OK Grognard Show, and then Season 01, episode 3 digits, because every year is a season. Started late this year. Didn't start till March because that's when we got shut down. And when I say we, I mean the world. So, you know, at most there's 365 episodes in a year, right? And Season 2 will be January 1st. But those are internal, right? Those are internal numbers. Those are for me to keep track of where things are. I don't need those to be the titles of shows, really. It's a little simpler if someone asks, hey, wasn't there a show that had a thing? And it was like, you know, but how often is that going to happen? It hasn't happened yet, and I'm 144 shows in. Remember that show where you talked about the blah blah? Well, what number was it? It was number blah. Okay, I can find it easily. But, you know, most of these things, a lot of what I say on any given show could be on any other given show, even though I kind of divvy these up, right? I mean, look at there's another thing. Oh, that cracks me up still. Every day that cracks me up. He's fallen off his ass, and he's fallen on his ass. That's how that goes. So we'll pop it over to the schedule real quick. I recently, not too long ago, 10, 15 shows ago, made some more slight adjustments to this and kind of made it a little more generic-ish, really. Like building adventures. I was building virtual tabletop adventures. Hey, Ink Dweller, how's it going, buddy? And I cut out the VTT part of it because I didn't want to be locked in. And 90% of what any show was really just more about building the adventure and not necessarily tied to virtual tabletop. So I felt, in a way, that was a bit of a skull and pants. How you doing, buddy? I felt in a way that was a little bit Prometheus bound. Good morning. What a crowd today. Beautiful. Yeah. An Ink Dweller's already here. An Article Justicar. Nice. I didn't want people tuning into that looking for specific virtual tabletop tips and then find out it was mostly about adventure building. So I thought, you know what? Let's make it mostly about adventure building. Call it Building Adventures. And then when we throw in virtual tabletop tips, it'll be a bonus rather than being short shrift. So I changed that a little bit. Thursday, I just decided that watching me paint, since I'm not a good painter, never said I was, never will be. I just don't have the talent. Watching me actually do that stuff, boring. Just doesn't make for, and how much can you squeeze in a half hour anyway? A lot of those great painting shows, they're on there for hours. You throw them up in the background while you're doing your own painting, and you're sitting there. It's like you're sitting at a table with a bunch of painters all working together and talking about stuff. So that whole terrain and miniatures painting stuff that was on Thursday, I thought, yeah, that can squeeze in under a game running tips category because I'm a guy who uses minis at the table 90% of the time, I would guess. I do some Theater of the Mind stuff, but not too much. I mean, every game has some Theater of the Mind stuff in it, whether you're using minis or not, but there are very few games I run completely sans miniatures. When we switched from wargaming over to D&D in 74, on the cover it said for use with pen and paper and miniatures and stuff, and we just thought, yeah. Now, granted, most of what we used the miniatures for in 74 and even onward for quite a long time was just to have them out there, represent our characters, show marching order. Every now and then the DM would spread them out and put something else on the table so you had a general idea of where you were in relation to other characters, right? But original plus advanced. Yep. And but it wasn't, it wasn't like a battle map kind of style of using miniatures like we eventually started doing. And really, we started doing that fairly early. We were doing that in first edition. The more we played, the more we liked the idea of using the minis during combats to be more representative of scaled actual distances. But we were wargamers. We were always wargamers, and we were wargamers before we were RPGers. So it's just naturally the way it was. When I hear people talk back in the day, we only ever did Theater of the Mind. I think, I don't know where you started, but, I was playing up in the Lake Geneva greater area if you count 100 miles around it. I went to a Gen Con in 75, so we were playing in 74. And we were always using miniatures to some degree, But there was tons of Theater of the Mind going on at the same time, so it's not even like there's this or that. It's not a either or. It's not a binary choice. It's a scale, right? Miniature usage has changed since my first game in 78. Yeah, Alex Fire, what was let's hear the let's hear a few sentences of what was the way in which you used them early on and then the way in which they morphed to a different kind of usage. I'm curious if it mirrors what my experience was or if it was maybe the opposite. Maybe you used minis early on and then phased them out. I do know groups who did that. So it is what it is. I mean, everybody comes at the game in their own way, and everybody plays the way everybody feels comfortable playing, right? That's the point. If you're not going to enjoy it, sometimes I'll hear people say a DM should run whatever game the players want to play and should always be entertaining the players. And I'm like, DM's a player too. DM just gets to decide more stuff because the DM's usually the one organizing it and doing most of the work, even if that work's only doing the reading of an entire adventure to run it for everybody else. I'm not saying it's work. I'm saying there's a lot of effort that goes into that, though. And if the DM is not having fun, in deference to making sure the players are having fun, that's screwed up, man. That ain't cool. Palace of the Silver Princess, just for position and marching order for minis, right? More for players to say, I was not near the fireball, see where my figure is. Yep. Absolutely. And that's, what a great reason for having minis out there so that people can, say where they are and be a little more explicit or precise about what they're doing within the game world, what their character is doing. Very important. I love it when somebody's real fidgety and they're constantly moving their figure around, and then you say, okay, well, nobody touch a money. Here's where the trap goes off. Oh, look, you moved yourself up next to the... So, we like people to be on their toes, right? That's part of the fun. More for players to say I was not near the fireball. So true. So true. Anywho, where are we at? We're getting close, huh? 27 minutes? What's going on with that? Well, I did not see our friend who got the giveaway this week popping in. I'm clicking on users in chat and it's not showing anybody. Isn't that crazy? And yet I got a number over here that says there's 7 people here and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Let's see. Where's Grail Knight today? Grail Knight here? No. It's unusual. Let's see. Lexfire, we got Ink Dweller and Skull and Pants. I'm just going to update the list while we're on it, because we want to make sure that everybody who's here, Prometheus Bound, get you in there, get you on the list. The list, he's making a list. It's an enemies list. No, it's not. No, it's not. 1, 2, Lexfire, Prometheus, Article, Skull and Pants, Ink Dweller. Okay. Skull and Pants, Ink Dweller, Lexfire 22. Okay. I think I got everybody. So there's 5 chatting. But this number said 7. Oh, it dropped to 6. Oh, I talked somebody out of staying. I'm such a klutz. No big. No big. We'll fix it in the mix, right? All right, that's all set. That's all set. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to pop back over to here. We're going to remind everybody, well, we just looked at the schedule. The rules retrospective thing. We finished up that Ranger yesterday. Go check out that episode if you missed it. It's kind of fun talking about the Ranger. Tomorrow, cartography and world building. I don't know where we're going to be going with stuff this week. I know I've got a few things on my plate I'd like to finish up. I don't know where we're at world-wise with unemployment. So maybe I can start putting some stuff out without jeopardizing unemployment too much. Because the big concern was always, you don't want to screw that up till we have an end time, till we have an end date on when the store's opening again. But now I don't know. If we're not getting the full boat, if we're down to a low percentage of what people normally get, then I'm going to have to supplement it with some selling of stuff. Thanks to everybody following in the Twitch channel and for chiming in when you get the chance. Thank you if you're catching up with this on YouTube also, because that's always good. We had a bit of a YouTube drive. If you're not on YouTube, if you're on YouTube but you haven't subscribed to the channel yet for that, do me a favor and go do that. We're doing a bit of a drive just to try to get the numbers up over there. I know it's not a big deal and it's not really important, but it's something to do. We're going to do it anyway. We might as well do that much. So there you go. And here you are. And here we are. Thank you so much. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, all of that other jazz. And we will catch you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.